holla back, yo. That's what Gwen Stefani would say if she did this podcast. She'd probably say holla back, girl.
Does she have a podcast?
She should.
She really should.
She should call it the Holla Podcast. We could just do this for the next 30 to 45 minutes and call it a podcast.
Yeah, we could, honestly.
And we could call it the Joystick Show. Welcome, guys. Just here chilling, I'm maxing, relaxing, all cool. I think I've used that at least twice.
Yeah, not shooting b-ball this time, though.
No, I'm shooting pool,
which
I'm going to talk about in a second. But to leave you on a little bit of a cliffhanger, let's just get through the YouTube spiel, get over it, get over that little hump. Mm-hmm. It would be pretty fine and dandy of you if you could go ahead and like this episode of the Joystick Show.
Big thumbs.
And, go ahead and subscribe to your boys here, Team Joystick. Mm-hmm. To Bobby,
always
to Dylan,
important.
To Joey, to Jose, to Jerry. We appreciate it. Look at those faces right there.
Yeah, it's like that's us or something.
That's us. That's us.
That's us.
That's them.
Mm-hmm.
We're here to do episode 106 of the Joystick Show.
Christ.
Right? When you put a number to it.
Yeah. It's not. I feel like now it's like the number shouldn't be shocking.
Yeah.
But every week I'm like, whoa, 3 numbers. Like it really throws me for a loop. It's like when the date changes at the end of the year and you keep writing the old date. That's just like
over under episode 200. You edit an episode over 200 or before 200.
I'm editing.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll edit an episode. That's a really bad episode, but
I'm saying like when is it that you're gonna edit an episode? Before episode 200?
Oh, probably after.
After? Okay.
Probably after. We can fit it in though.
Yeah, we'll fit it in.
Yeah.
Bobby teaches Dylan how to edit.
It'd be one shot. It'd be really easy. I just edit and meme things and whatever pivot animations I do.
So, before we did this, before we got together to do this shindig, I got the podcast ready super early today, probably around like 3-4 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And then afterwards, I went upstairs and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to go play pool. It's something I've been doing pretty frequently recently. I think I go about once to twice a week, which is a lot of fun for me, and I like to practice and get better. And we were going to meet here, like 8:30?
Yeah.
So I was getting ready to leave the pool hall by like 7, maybe 7:30. And it's like, like an 8-minute walk from my house. It's not that far at all.
Pretty short.
But as I was leaving, there was another guy who was at the pool hall by himself. And he was practicing and he was doing pretty well. And he came up to me and he's like, do you want to practice? And I was like, nobody ever asks me. I was like, fuck it. I barely ever get to play with people, right? So.
Real friendly.
Yeah, real cool guy.
Yeah.
Shout out to Christian. That was his name. Dominican guy.
Very believable.
Yeah, right.
It's like I'm watching like in baseball. It's like now up Christian. It's like another one. Crazy.
So fucking it's funny because like I said, I had to do the podcast right after. So I literally told him, I was like, yeah, I could play a couple games, but I gotta head out soon. I was literally about to head out when he came up to ask me to play. So he's like, yeah, my friend. And then he was like, do you want to play 8-ball, 9-ball, 10-ball? And I'm trying to get better at 9-ball. So I said, let's play some 9-ball. And he said, all right, cool. And he goes, we'll just do a little race to 5. So a race to 5 means you have to be the first one to win 5 games.
Which, if you go back and forth, that's more than 5 games.
Yeah, for sure. So I was like, this guy not hear me? But I was like, you know what? I've never played a race before, let alone with somebody who's actually good. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to get better. This is how it's done. He was really cool, too. He was like, do you gamble? And I was like, not really. And he was like, no problem. We could play for practice. And he was like, if you ever want to gamble, he's like, I do like $5, $10. And that's cool because it's kind of like money matching in Melee. Like they play their hardest, and that's kind of what you want. You don't want them
but it's not a crazy amount either.
Exactly.
It's not like, $200.
But it's not really the amount that matters. It's just the fact that when you're playing for money, you play better.
Oh, of course. 100%.
Which is the point, Yeah. But regardless, he was like, all right, we'll do a race to 5 9-ball. And I was like, all right, screw it, fuck it. Guy's incredible, really, really great. Cue ball controls like out of this world. To be fair, he gave me the first, he won the first game, but then he gave me a game after that. I think he won the first 2 and then he gave me one because he like scratched on the last shot. And I was like, all right, cool, I'll take that one. But pretty proud of myself. Took it to the last game. Unfortunately, I lost. Christian took it 5-4, but I'm pretty proud that I took 4. I took 4 against a guy who's really, really fucking good. And he's a really sweet dude. He told me afterwards, he was like, your shooting is really sick. He was like, your stroke is immaculate, which is, I pride myself in because I try to, every time I get down there and I shoot it, I try to make it look like I'm fucking a pro player.
Yeah.
But like I said, I was like, my cue ball control is what needs work. And he's like, yeah, man, but that comes with practice. And he said, I'm usually here on the weekends if you ever want to play. And I was like, fuck yeah. So I got a new pool pal, as Josh would say, from Drake and Josh.
The PP.
The pool pal.
Yeah, you got PPs all over the place.
Yeah.
And you're ready.
I got like 3 PPs now.
Damn, I need a sport. Damn, bro, I need a activity.
When are we out to bocce ball, bro?
I mean,
we've been trying to do
that's
this
what
for
I
years.
was thinking. I was like, oh, I could bowl or I could do darts. My brother was part of a darts team. I feel like that, but like this travel, like you got to go to different fucking bars, which I hate. I'm like, oh, you have home field advantage. What the fuck is this?
We can start playing bocce ball in my driveway while my neighbors are going up and down it to fucking
just
service the car. Yeah,
just clock them in the head with a fucking bocce ball. No, I just imagine doing that. Like I know pools that's like the culture, but I imagine doing that with someone else. Like you're playing shuffleboard and you just throw like a 20 on the table. You're like, this is for the big bucks.
Yeah. But it was really cool, and like I said, it's fun to play people who are good, and that's kind of the goal. There's the pool hall at Jerry's house is starting 9-ball tournaments, I think, next Tuesday, every Tuesday. So the goal is to get as good as I can, not necessarily to win, but to show up,
have a chance.
Exactly. I want to get better.
It's nice.
Mm-hmm. What you been up to, bud? You've been up to some shit.
Yeah, no, nothing really. I just came back from school, and I always underestimate how much of that time, because I'm a good noodle. So I actually do, like when your professor tells you, like, oh, read this book. I actually do read the book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I put at least a little bit of effort into it.
As you should,
But my schedule is pretty light this year. I have 2 schedules that are fully online, which I like, but my professor is like, she does like participation.
What do you mean 2 schedules?
2 online classes scheduled.
Okay,
so it's like I don't meet.
You had 2 separate schedules.
No. I just have 2 classes that we don't meet in person. It's just only online.
How many classes did you take?
5.
So you go in for 3.
I go in for 2, and then I have another one that's on Zoom.
Okay.
So I just go into like the library or somewhere and take the class there, which is really funny. Where I'm like quiet in like the hallway for 30 minutes, and then I'm just like, Mi chiamo Dylan. Like I was like speaking Italian in the middle, like just looking around. Like, yeah. But it's always a weird class. Shit. Everyone is like, there's one guy in my Italian class. Well, there's a couple of like older people in my Italian class. I have this guy. I want to say he's older than the professor. He's like in his 50s.
Okay.
And his name is Jonathan, and this guy participates more than anybody, bro. This guy,
older students do that.
Like
bro.
he's first off, he's sitting in the most bougie fucking apartment. He has his name written in Italian in Zoom, like he changed his name, and then he's just sitting in his like fucking sick ass apartment, just kind of speaking Italian. I'm like, who the fuck is this random dude?
So sick.
Yeah, and I'm like, who is this guy? And I don't know, but like, half the class doesn't even participate. Yeah. They get called on. They're like, hello. And so they're not there, right? So it's like Jonathan's like, I'll do it. Like, or whatever fucking he like
Jonathan, the Italian teacher's pet, bro.
He talks more than her.
Yeah.
Like I had this a lot with one of my other classes, which during COVID, I had a government class. And during that class, it was really interesting because this guy didn't speak a lot, and then there was one guy who was like a YouTuber, and he had like a 4K camera, and he spoke more than the professor. I'm like,
shit!
Just make this guy the professor.
Damn, I used to do that when like we went to during the COVID times when we went online for the after school program and shit. Since I had all the equipment, I would join like the Zoom calls that all the students and even the other staff would be like, Bobby, where are you right now?
Yeah,
I'd be like, bro,
in my room.
I hooked this shit up, man. I've got like neon lights behind me and shit.
You're just a professional. But everything's pretty lenient. I have one class which is advertising and marketing communications. It's like the senior level class in my school.
Yeah.
And junior, senior level. And the good thing about this class
hold on real quick. Shout outs to Jonathan. L'animale domestico dell'insegnante. Apparently that's teacher's pet. That shit was way longer than I thought for 2 fucking words. But yes.
Thank you, Bobby. So that's pretty good.
Not bad, right?
So this class, it's an hour and a half, and we just watch commercials.
I like that.
Literally, and the guy who teaches actually is a former advertising manager and used to shoot. Like he would like run the shoots for these commercials. Yeah. So we just sit there and we're just like watching old commercials.
Dude, if you have to make a commercial, can we please work on it?
Yes,
together?
I have to make one. So I will definitely.
We will make that shit look. I will
be contacting you.
Yes, we could do like a drug commercial. It
could be anything. I forget. We have to pick our product.
Addictomy.
I was literally told since I was so mad because for the past 3 years I've been reusing the same Arizona iced tea project. And on the on it's like brands you can use, it says in big letters, no Arizona. I'm like, fuck. And I'm like, how about Snapple? He's like, no Snapple. And I'm like, but Lipton's #1. He's like, no Lipton either. And I'm like, what? You can't do iced tea? And he's like, you can do iced tea. And I'm like, you just said
you just named the 3 biggest iced tea.
And he's like,
brands.
well, you're supposed to be doing one that's struggling. And I'm like, Snapple's 3rd. That's struggling. But yeah, do you know what is I'm sure you know of it because you're like a film guy, but do you know what is considered like the best commercial ever?
Of all time?
Yes, it's considered one of the most influential commercials of all time.
I have guesses.
Okay.
It's the Mean Joe Green.
No. That's one of the more popular ones.
Cindy Crawford.
It is the
Pepsi machine.
It is the 1984 Macintosh ad.
Which one is that?
It's
on a white background? Or?
Yeah, it's like almost all black and white. It's directed by Ridley Scott.
Okay. Oh yeah, I do know that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's seen as like one of the most influential ones, and I'm like, we started talking about it, and everyone was like, got interested for once, and the professor was like, oh, let's watch it since you guys like, or for once are showing interest, right? But like he puts it on, and it's essentially just like the movie 1984.
Okay.
And it's like all like people just like walking in a straight file, and it's like they're all like color corrected, so it's like they have no color, like it's all diluted. And then there's this one woman in a tank top holding a sledgehammer, and she's like running away from them, and it's like beautifully shot. And then they're all watching this projector, and then she just takes the sledgehammer, winds up in slow-mo, throws it into projector screen, it explodes, and then text just scrolls and just says, the future won't be like 1984, we'll be revolutionary. And it says the Apple logo, and that's it. And I'm like, damn,
that was cinematic.
Yeah, it's fucking moving, bro.
Damn, now I think we gotta up our fake commercial that we gotta make.
I saw some of these fake commercials. We do not have to up our commercial game.
That's good.
One was like a Skittles ad, and it was like all stock footage.
Okay.
And then there was another one that was like Trident, and it was just someone like a European student, obviously European student, just asking other students if they wanted a Trident.
Do you want Trident?
Yes. They smile, and it's like
good.
Trident makes you smile or whatever. It was like mad cute,
it's
and I'm
incredible.
like,
I love that.
I could
dude.
definitely do better than that fucking kid. But yeah, it's like one of my favorite classes because we just watch, like, he's like, now let's watch this one, and it takes him like 2 minutes because he's horrible at fucking using computers, and we watched like the same Axe ad on 3 times on loop because he couldn't figure out how to stop it. So it's just like, oh baby, we're just watching, and I'm like, we get it. Sex sold for some reason. No one who sold cologne at one time thought, oh, make it seem like you'd get woman if you wear this cologne.
Just the cologne kid.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, fucking, I love the cologne kid. Yeah. Give a real big shout out if you're watching us, cologne kid.
He might be.
Yeah.
Fucking this would be a good time to say, what's up, Mikey? Looking real good there, buddy. I'm just saying some nice positive compliments, slinging the Mikey's way with no influence whatsoever. No. Just felt like doing that.
He's a great guy.
For sure.
Great person.
Great dude.
In general. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, I watched something today. So I've been listening it's not for some reason. You know how much I like their music for some reason. Like Super Mega's songs, specifically DTF, and then Matt Watson's like No Nut November. And then that kind of got me down the rabbit hole of like comedy rap. I would have said comedy music, but more so specifically comedy rap, like not Weird Al and things like that, or Flight of the Conchords.
Musical comedy.
Yeah, but no, musical rap.
Specifically rap. Okay.
And when you think musical rap, there's one group that really, not to use the pun before it makes sense, that really hits it out of the park when it comes to musical rap. Would you like to take a guess who those guys might be?
No, you could just say it.
It's the Lonely Island.
Yes.
Very well known for their musical rap.
They're quite known, even though the first one was like Lazy Sunday. It was just like weird because no one relates it to them.
So after Popstar, a lot of people know what they kind of did because they kind of stuck away from doing like the normal album route or the normal film route. But have you ever heard of the Unauthorized Bash Brothers experience?
No, I have not.
You haven't? This is fun.
Okay.
So in 2019, I think it was the year before COVID,
all right,
the Lonely Island conceptualized an album as if Jose Canseco and Mark McGuire.
Oh, okay, I've seen.
Made a rap album in the 80s.
I've seen the video.
Yeah, they have multiple music videos that they made for the songs, and then on Netflix they released a 30-minute visual poem, as they call it, called The Unauthorized Bash Brothers Experience.
Okay.
And I have listened to the songs, and I had watched a couple of the music videos and pieces, but I'd never sat down and watched it in one sitting.
Okay.
And it has got to be one of the most delightfully stupid things I have ever watched.
I mean, just the idea,
life.
like explaining anything they do to anybody is just like, okay, this is special.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like your typical Lonely Island mumbo jumbo, right?
Okay.
But one thing I thought was really interesting is like they really went for the visual poem thing because the whole special is shot ridiculously well. Like one of the first scenes, or in the first music video, like Andy Samberg is rapping over like a green screen, but it's like of this super neon lit stadium with his name and people taking pictures. It looks hot as fuck, right? The whole fucking thing is like the visual effects specifically and the cinematography. I was like, this is way too well done for this, right?
For an unauthorized rap.
Bash Brothers experience. And then sure enough, the credits come rolling, and it was directed by, I think it was directed by Akiva and by Mike Diva. Remember Mike Diva from YouTube? The Asian guy that he would make all the fucking crazy-ass neon hyper edits. Yeah, and then you go and you watch it, and it looks like a 30-minute long Mike Diva video, but it looks great because he's like really good at what he does.
And now it's okay. That's
and
really
I thought it was sick that he worked with
I mean, that's
a
a great collab. It's a collab I didn't expect
and
to
it's
see.
funny because like as soon as I saw that in the credits, I was like, yep, he definitely directed that fucking thing because every single shot, he's known for like the neon colors, the frenetic editing, the incredible green screen work. Like, you remember that music video I showed you years ago of the black dude? And he's like, I'm on crack. And he's like, that's Mike Diva. How he's like flying from green screen to green screen.
Yes.
His body turns into a helicopter. Like, he's known for that crazy shit.
And he made a fun. And he used it for good. But he used it.
Has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it has like 15 critics. But it's not necessarily a movie, but it's still very good.
Hey,
and
it still counts.
And the last thing I wanted to mention is there's one song that I have stuck in my head. They have a couple of music videos where they have actual like celebrities in them.
Okay.
So like there's this one song called Oakland Nights, and it's supposed to be like an R&B sexy thing, and like Jenny Slate is one of the girls that they're trying to like woo.
Okay.
But Sia is the girl who does the chorus of the song. But Sia doesn't play Sia. They got Sterling Brown, black actor, to play Sia. So here's like Sterling Brown in a wig, just like singing over Sia's parts. But my favorite celebrity guest part, that's not even my favorite part. My favorite celebrity guest part was for another song. I guess this is going to be the name of the song, but they're in like an IHOP parking lot, supposedly. IHOP parking lot. They don't show the logo. It looks like a diner or whatever. But then the whole joke with this song is these 5 girls show up, and they're called the Val Gals, and they're supposed to be like a 1950s kind of like street gang of girls, and they start singing this song. Okay. So the leader is Maya Rudolph.
Oh God!
3 of them are the Haim sisters from the band Haim,
and then
the 5th one is Stephanie Beatriz from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, the Hispanic chick. Yeah. So it's the 5 of them, but they start singing this song where they're like, "Shake yo nasty butt, shake yo nasty butt," and then it goes into the song. They sing like the actual song, but then it ends with them going, "Nasty boys, shake that nasty butt," and then they start getting closer. They're like, "What are you doing?" And then for like a minute straight, they're just like, "Shake that nasty butt," and it gets closer to their face, like, "Shake that nasty butt."
That's so creepy,
bro. I was crying, dude. I was down here fixing up the podcast, like, "Shake that nasty butt." I couldn't fucking shake it off.
I gotta fucking watch this.
But yeah, it was great, and I was honestly happy that it's only like 28 minutes long because it's such like you can sit down and it goes by really quickly.
I feel like it would not have 100% if it was long. I feel like if it was an hour of Jose Canseco and Mark McGuire-esque stuff. Oh no.
Holy shit. But yeah, that definitely killed me. You have to check out the Unauthorized Bash Brothers Experience. Mm-hmm. Very old, but and real quick, before we divert this, I thought it was interesting how much like real interesting content there is on Netflix lately. Like I've noticed that too. As someone who doesn't have Netflix, I'm just like, yesterday I went onto Netflix to look for something, and I noticed like they had amazing movies. I was like, oh my god, I love all these movies. Like it was either movies I really like or movies that are really good, and I was like, damn, they have a solid selection. And then today when I was watching the Bash Brothers Experience, there was like 3 shows that like either a season was added of something that I really liked, or I heard people talking about it that was interesting. Like the 3 were they added a new season to History 101, which is that show that I like with all the fun facts. So I'm gonna binge watch that, so I have a lot more fucking topics to talk about. Nicolas Cage hosts a new show on Netflix called The History of Swear Words, which each episode is diverted to a different swear word.
That's pretty interesting.
And it's Nicolas fucking Cage. Hence the swear word.
Oh,
and the third one, interestingly enough, is How to Build a Sex Room. And I think it's just like this old woman, and it's taken very seriously. Like it looks almost like the Great British Bake Off, but it's apparently this woman who like educates people on building sex rooms, and she's like 70 years old. Like she's like an old.
Well, she's
white-haired
Bob.
woman.
She's an expert.
I know. She's a sexpert. But I just noticed that Netflix has some pretty interesting content.
I gotta watch all of these because a lot of these they sound like almost like. Not documentary style, but they are. They're like, reality, how to do this.
Yeah.
They're very much like
either educational. Oddly enough,
they're either docu-series or like reality, which I find super interesting. And if I can segue that, this past week I've been watching very, very poor reality TV shows and docu-series that are really, really bad. And there's one that I would say is like probably the most unbelievable. So let me break this down for you, okay? So it's on the Discovery Channel.
Got it.
All right. The name of the show is called Eaten Alive.
I've heard of it. I don't really know.
Okay. Well, it wasn't a show. It was a 2-part, 2-hour series, so an hour each part, and it was just like a documentary series. So can you take a guess of just what it is about? Just
Eaten Alive?
A shot in the dark of what the show of what the.
Well, if it's on the Discovery Channel, I would assume, and I know I'm going to be far off here, that it's something like a parasite, perhaps, right? Like a parasite.
Someone eating. Okay, so it is done in the name of, like conservation. Right, like nature conservation, but it's a guy who had the idea of, I saw on TV a 28-foot anaconda. I am going to stick a GoPro in my head, go to the Amazon rainforest, get intentionally eaten by the anaconda with the camera, so we can see the inside of the anaconda, which then he will be ingested and then spit back out, and then we get his story.
You're making this shit up.
This is 100%. I don't remember if it was like being eaten alive or
I got it.
It was eaten alive. This is a real thing that was on the Discovery Channel. So I had to find it. Took me like an hour to fucking find it. Found it and watched it, and it is by far one of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life. As you can guess, he didn't actually get eaten fucking alive by an animal. So this is
funny you say that, and I just imagine Dan from the slow-mo guys in like that 6-foot balloon with like his head against it.
Yes. That's what I was imagining.
Just a man in an anaconda. Holy shit.
Like, but no, I was like, this is the dumbest idea. But to think that it actually came out, because imagine you being like an editor. Imagine having to make a documentary, and then the film you get is absolute shit.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I have to make a 2-hour documentary out of this. So the first hour and a half is just them arriving to the rainforest, setting up, and then looking for a snake.
Yeah.
That's the entire thing. It's literally sweaty dudes look for a snake. That's the entire docu-series. And I was annoyed because I'm like, all right, is this dude going to get eaten by a fucking anaconda? Right? I'm fast forwarding.
That'd be me.
Yeah, and also they didn't know where this anaconda was. They just thought that they'd show up and they'd be like, oh,
right there?
Yeah, right there. Found it. So they found a 20-foot anaconda, given there's 20 minutes left in the special at this point already. Okay. So they find an anaconda finally. Smaller, not as wide of a jowl, not as big.
Got it, yeah.
But they're like, okay, let's go for it anyway. So he gets in the suit, he goes in the water trying to get it to eat him. The anaconda starts to eat him, but then decides, a much better way to kill him is to wrap around his body and try to suffocate. Yeah. So immediately he's like, oh, guys. And I'm like, did you not expect the deadly anaconda to fucking...
Who kills animals by suffocating them.
To try and suffocate you and kill him. He was blown away. He was like, no fucking way, dude. No way that... I'm like, did no one think of that this entire time? Years of trying to make this documentary. You fly to the Amazonian rainforest, and then you get into the mouth of the anaconda. You're like, oh, this hurts. That was his words.
People got money to do this.
He was in shock of how much it hurt, and I'm like, you thought that getting eaten by a snake would not fucking
What
hurt?
did he think?
I know, that's the thing. And literally, it was just compilations of people, like, they tried to make a show about there was one on HBO that's called The Confederacy. Can you guess what that's about?
I'm not even gonna fucking attempt.
So apparently the show isn't being made now. Like, they made it and then they never came out, and they were like, why didn't it come out? And it's like, maybe because it was an alternate reality show where slavery never
was abolished.
Which, by the way, even if the Confederacy won, it still would have been abolished. I don't know why, like, that's like the conversation, because it's like, even if the South won the Civil War, by the time 1925 rolls around, you think that we would still, I don't know. I think that despite all of America's fuck ups, we still would be like, every other country.
Yeah,
like, if every other country bans it and America's
still just like,
nope, we're sticking by it. So and it was just like, I ended up on a compilation of just controversial shows and being like, all right, is this funny?
Yeah.
Because like Mountain Monsters was another one that was incredible, which is on the Travel Channel, which is also owned by Discovery and History Channel. But Mountain Monsters was essentially a group of guys in the Appalachian Mountains who they have a business, and the business is killing, Bigfoot and mountain monsters. And
very
all
profitable business.
They have a trapper, they have like a intelligence guy, they have a tech guy, like they have a whole, but those Dunkaroos.
Dunkaroos.
Nice. And it is probably the funniest show because they just miss him every single time. They're about to get him on camera. And all they have are dead ones. They don't never get one live, but they're so close. And they all have
us the money. We'll get one. Don't worry.
And they have like military grade weaponry for these animals. You know what I mean? Like they have like shotguns, like artillery, shells, fucking flashbang. I'm gonna flashbang them, and it's like, you're gonna flashbang a chupacabra, bro.
That's a fucking incredible. I love this.
Yes, and it's like, and at the same time,
a SWAT team for cryptids.
Yeah. No, literally, they have. Can we look them up?
Mountain Man?
It's a Mountain Monsters, maybe? I'm going to have Dunkaroos.
Oh, go ahead. They're not the same.
I think it's Mountain Monsters.
Meet the Mountain Monsters crew from the Travel Channel?
Yes, that's them. Yeah, this is
Are these the legends right here? Wow.
This is the cream of the crop, top of the line people.
I'm glad the Duck Hunt guys were able to keep going,
They just switched into
the Duck Hunt guys. I meant the Duck Dynasty guys.
The Duck Hunt.
Not the people who made the NES classic Duck Hunt.
A bunch of Japanese men are pets. They're like, what the fuck? We didn't do anything. But I've just been falling down a rabbit hole of these people trying to make these TV shows and being like, what? People don't like this? No, we don't. We do not. History Channel is the worst. They, at one point, the History Channel had a racial specialist. He was like a anthropologist who would basically...
Wait, when you say racial specialist, like he's educated on like racism and stuff like that?
He's educated on he basically does like eugenics.
Got it.
But it's like they don't say that word, obviously.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, you see, people from South America have smaller brains. And that way they wouldn't have been able to build these things. Like, it's essentially like, the aliens guy.
Got it.
It's that guy, but also racist. It's it's not only did the aliens do it, the aliens did it because you guys were stupid and not white.
So he is an expert in racism.
Yeah, he is. Technically he is, but it's just so funny because every time they're like, and could have the Egyptians built this? I'm okay. And it just cuts to the racist guy. He's like, nope, they didn't do it. Nope. And I'm like, you can't just call this guy an expert if you just cut to him and he's like, nope, they were dumb. They couldn't have done this.
I think the only funny part is that this guy just like judges races by the sizes of their brains. Like he's like, less smart.
Yeah.
Brain is small as shit.
Less smart, or even then, if it gets up to like a certain...
My brain is so big, it's falling out of my fucking ears.
Like if it gets up to like the... like 1500 BC, he's like, no fucking shot. Yeah. No fucking way. And I'm just like, you can't just believe it. You know how much lost knowledge we have?
I could actually, not really, but I can oddly swing this into another thing I wanted to talk about. Because it's about TV. Not necessarily about reality TV, but it is about...
Doesn't have to be.
It's about fun TV. It's about a type of show that the whole family can enjoy.
Oh, damn.
Lots of fun. People play on it.
Big Brother.
You know the type of show I'm talking about?
Big Brother.
It's not Big Brother.
Survivor.
It's not Survivor. It's a type of show.
Big Brother Survivor.
Game shows. I'd watch the shit out of that.
It's like they're 18 people, but they're in a hut in like the feed.
They all have fucking cameras attached to them. No, so I don't know what it was. I mean, I talked to Dylan beforehand. We were just talking about, like, oddly enough, the other day, I just started thinking a lot about Jeopardy. And, like, I came to the conclusion that, at least in my opinion, and I think it's strong when the Jeopardy's the best game show. It doesn't have as many gimmicks tied to it. It's very professional. It takes itself super seriously. Has tournaments, returning champions, et cetera, right? And then I started thinking about, like, some of the other really popular game shows that are out there, right? Price is Right, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader, Lingo.
Okay.
The really important ones.
You're
right?
you're really digging through it.
Yeah. But there was one that I was thinking about. It's by far one of the most popular. Yeah, sure. Jeopardy might be the best, but if we're being honest, this game show might be the most popular game show in America. Do you know which one I'm alluding to?
Does it star one of my favorite hosts?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yes. What? Family Feud. Yeah.
Family.
So I started thinking a lot about
Feud.
Family Feud. I don't know why. Just like, you know, it's a show that we've been watching for forever.
I feel like everyone likes Family.
So
everyone.
my first question I have to ask you is, who was the first host you remember on Family Feud?
I remember. Okay. So the first host I remember would probably be Richard Karn.
Yeah.
Because I think it was Karn O'Hurley, right? That was like the order.
Yep.
But I would watch Game Show Network, and they would, back in the day, they would all, what's this guy, the one who kissed everybody?
Richard Dawson, is that his name?
Yeah, because Dawkins that's the atheist guy.
Dawkins.
Richard Dawkins is like a...
I thought he was another host of Family Feud. I was very confused.
These are very similar people, man.
No, I want to get his name right. Keep going.
Richard Dawson, I think it is. Yeah, but I remember watching him a lot because my parents always told me about him. They'd be like, "Oh, the old host. He'd go up and he'd kiss you."
Yeah, right.
You know, that's the first thing I remember I heard about. Yeah, there he is. This guy would make out with everybody, and like he just.
Well, how you doing?
Yeah.
But no, yeah. So you know, Richard Karn was also for me. Like he was the one hosting it around the time that we were like watching TV and stuff. And then I started getting into like the hosts of Family Feud and like the chronology of it all.
Mm-hmm.
And I found a list that ranked like the top. Well, there's 6 Family Feud hosts that ranked them in order from best to worst.
Okay.
And I had to say, I don't think it was a very agreeable list.
Well, because I'm going to guess that they put Karn really low.
I think Karn was 5th.
Okay, because apparently everyone said that Karn wasn't likable,
Mm-hmm.
which it's like, what's his name? you know?
Well, you got to keep in mind, when I was reading the list, this is what I didn't understand. And well, not that I didn't understand it, but I didn't get that perspective.
Okay.
Do you know who the host was before Richard Karn?
No.
Louis Anderson.
Okay.
So before Richard Karn, it was like a legit stand-up comedian. So he
Yeah.
brought in a lot of humor to the show and da-da-da-da. But when Richard Karn came in, he was like, you know, Al from Home Improvement. So he had more of like a dad kind of.
He was like, oh, ha ha ha. You didn't actually crack jokes.
So
he just kind of related.
He lost a lot of that. Apparently, though, like with a lot of the reasons people liked him was because of like his enthusiasm for the show. Like he always wanted to be present and like make the show fun for the guests and things like that. I think they put Dawson as first, which can't really argue it because
he's a classic.
He was the original, and they actually brought him in after I think Ray Combs killed himself, or maybe I don't know, after one of the hosts. I don't think Ray Combs killed himself in the middle of Family Feud. I think he did that after he lost the job or something. But
did it on the show.
Survey says.
Jesus Christ.
But but I gotta say, one of my favorite all-time hosts of Family Feud was John O'Hurley.
John O'Hurley was great.
John O'Hurley was a fucking
John O'Hurley was
That's
great.
to Elaine's boss, right?
Yeah.
But you know what's something actually pretty cool that I found out about Family Feud, which is why I'm kind of like tying it into this. You know who replaced John O'Hurley?
Steve Harvey?
Steve Harvey. Do you know why John O'Hurley left Family Feud?
I do not.
This is what I thought was very interesting. John O'Hurley left Family Feud because he noticed that the questions that the surveys that the Americans that were being surveyed were being asked started to get progressively more crass and sexual.
Oh, okay.
Which is obviously Family Feud's fucking shtick nowadays with Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
But I find it really funny that John O'Hurley left for that reason, and then Steve Harvey came in and just ran that reason into the fucking ground to the point where like he's probably the most likable Family Feud host of all
He
time
literally. I feel like it got to a point where people would wanna say a funny thing or a raunchy statement, so that they could see how Steve reacted. Because he turns to the camera and you're fucking on the floor. He hasn't even started speaking yet. You're like, he's gonna react to this.
Name something you might stick in your ass. A penis. What the hell? What? Child.
And then he puts his head down. He walks around the fucking.
He goes backstage. He comes back. Who? Oh, my favorite
Pulls
is
out the hanky.
My favorite is when he's like, "What Americans do you think we surveyed? What mall do you think we went to? What?"
He's got the southern like triple take when you talk like the foghorn leghorn where he repeats the same.
And make no mistake, I feel like Steve Harvey's one of those comedians and just overall personalities who doesn't get shit on but gets like impersonated a lot, like I just did, and kind of gets like, but Steve Harvey's fucking funny. Dude. Steve Harvey's funny as shit.
Oh yeah. No, you cannot deny it at all.
Like there's a reason motherfucker has like 4 television shows right now because he's funny as shit. There's a reason he's a game show host, a talk show host, and a judge all at the same time. I think he's a radio show host too.
Oh yeah. He has like a super long radio show.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like, he's just funny. Like it's one of those people that like he just turns and you're like, I'm already laughing.
So who's your favorite Family Feud host?
Probably O'Hurley or Dawson.
I think mine is O'Hurley or Harvey. I think Harvey's taking over.
Harvey's funny.
The thing is like I feel the Family Feud, going back to the whole Jeopardy discussion, is it doesn't feel that much like a game show anymore. It feels like a comedy, right? Like it feels like you go to it to watch these funny clips and to watch Steve. It doesn't feel like you really go to cheer on the contestants or solve puzzles.
I don't know. Now that I think about it, I feel like there's different. Every game show is different. Like Jeopardy is the best one because it's like it's no frills and it's trivia. Like Family Feud isn't really it's like, what do you think this person guessed? It's like more like fun. It's kind of just like
you could technically be wrong.
It's like people, I feel like it's super like it is like that's why it's called Family Feud, because it's not only that families play it, but I feel like everyone can play. Like it's not skill based. You don't like my parents don't like Jeopardy because they're like, I don't know this shit, right? Or it's like too fast, and then they're like, oh well, I can't watch it now. But Wheel of Fortune,
everybody,
they'll
I still remember the first Wheel of Fortune clue I ever got right. I was like 7 or 8 years old. It's at my grandma's house. It was Golden State.
Nice.
The clue was like, I don't know, name or proper name or something like that.
The only one I know was the one where I got there was only a T on them. Yeah. I think there was only a T. I'm not sure, but all I know was that there was nothing even on there, and I guessed it. But I don't remember my first one. I don't remember.
I saw that once too, where like a woman did the final puzzle and she had like an L and an E, and that was like it. And she was like, George Lopez, and it went up, and she was like, oh my god. I was like, what the fuck? You're incredible. She
just woke up, waking up in the middle of the night to fucking George Lopez on TV. Cemented a good thing. Have you seen Nick at Night lately, by the way?
No.
So they play like.
I never watched Nick at Night ever.
Sadness. But I feel bad for any children, which, by the way, I hope no children are watching Nick at Night.
What's considered old now?
Well, it's like old
Nick shows.
Not even. It's like young Sheldon.
Oh,
so it's like newer sitcoms that got canceled, or not even. It's just like
re-syndicated.
Newer re-syndicated stuff. And like before that, I don't even know like what was a family friendly, because it's like I don't even think like Modern Family is on there, because even that's like a little too raunchy sometimes in my opinion.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even think it's that. I just think it would be expensive. You know? Like if you wanted to re-syndicate, that's like a good show.
It's a very good show now that I think about it. But I don't know. It makes sense considering when we were younger, it was like The Nanny and Full House and Fresh Prince, and it was like all
even like towards the tail end. I remember they were playing like Friends on there and shit like that, like 90s sitcoms.
That's probably what they play now. Also, they probably play a bunch of Friends. But I remember it was on like my mom was watching it, and it was like young Sheldon and another sitcom I don't even know, and it's like, damn, Nickelodeon has fallen in every way, not just
the animation department.
No, everything.
Fucking what was my last? I have so many tidbits, bro.
My
tidbit isn't about animation, but it is about a trailer we watched before we started the podcast.
It is.
Because I wanted to talk about how excited I am for The Glass Onion. I'm just gonna leave it at that, so people don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. They'll be like, "What the hell is this Glass Onion?"
By the way,
talking about?
I don't like the title.
You don't like the title? Well, it's because did you see the trailer? Like the building they're at has like a glass dome that kind of frivels up, much like the Bloomin' Onion from
Outback Steakhouse.
Yeah. Can I? Before we get into this, I just want to share one thing.
Okay.
Right? I have like a couple of people on my Snapchat who I don't really know. Like probably like,
me too.
Like
me
7
too.
or 8 people.
I have random people on my
like
Snapchat
they friended
also.
me, and I was like, I think I know that person.
But
and
you
then,
don't.
Like, nope. No,
that happens all the fucking time with me. People add me on Snapchat.
But not to get too far into it, but to keep it on topic, I have a friend who's like, keep it a heavy set woman. Leave it at that. Very heavy set. And it's not uncommon for people to have a nice little snack in bed.
I was gonna say that as a joke, Bobby.
She was watching like probably Nick at Night on the TV, and in bed it was a full Bloomin' Onion from Outback Steakhouse, and the title was even like little midnight Bloomin' Onion snack, and I was like, Jesus Christ,
There's a couple of problems. There's a couple of issues. Firstly, I've seen this phenomenon across social media as a whole. People will be like, oh, a nice midday meal, and it's a fucking feast for 8 to 10 people. It won't even be heavy set people. It'll just be people in general. Just like, having a small little snack. Number 2, that's not a snack.
That's a fucking full-on appetizer.
That is an appetizer that at the bottom says meant for 2 or more people.
Yeah. But we're getting that onion out of the way. Let's go back to the Glass Onion. Shout out to Ryan Johnson, incredible director and writer who wrote and directed Knives Out, I think in 2019, which is a really, really good film. It won the Oscar for, I want to say, best screenplay. And honestly, that's one of the best written movies. It has a really, really satisfying twist at the end. I mean, it's a murder mystery film. It has to. It's one of the main.
I feel like if it's like, oh, it's the person I expected, it wouldn't.
Yeah,
it wouldn't
and on
work.
top of that, I was telling Dylan too before we started that the way that the movies are shot are in a really interesting way, where like it really leaves you on the edge of your seat, but the movie also doesn't take itself too seriously. So it's not like really a drama. It's more of like a fun comedy, and it really feels like you're trying to put the pieces together.
It's a comedy in the framework of like a murder mystery drama.
Yeah. So the first movie did incredibly well, won the Oscar, and one of the other kind of tropes of the movie is that it features ensemble casts, because in a whodunit you need to have a lot of people to sift through of who could have possibly done it, right?
Correct.
So in the first movie it was like we had Jamie Lee Curtis, Chris Evans. I always forget her name, but the girl who played Hannah Baker in 13 Reasons Why.
She has a dumb name, right?
Sure, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, Christopher Plummer.
Christopher Plummer. Toni Collette, Michael Shannon, but a lot of people. And they're making the sequel, which is called Glass Onion, because as I was alluding to before, the location where it takes place is like an island that has like this building with a glass dome on it that looks like an onion.
And I'm sure the other like in the future movies will be like another
thing.
Yeah.
And they even said after the success of the first movie that they were going to continue making more, and that the central thing was going to be the main character of the series, who's Daniel Craig, who plays an investigator, who's the guy who cracks the case essentially, and who like interviews all the suspects. So the second movie's coming out, and the cast looks, I don't want to say better.
Personally, from the trailer, I like the cast.
I'm just saying, like, I think both casts are phenomenal, but I do think that these are more interesting people at play. Like, it's definitely going to be more fun to see these people on screen. And also just, like, because the theme, not the theme, but the setting of the first movie is that it takes place in, like, an old mansion. So all the suspects are a family. So they're all kind of similar, and they're, like, rich and white and da-da-da-da. This one, it's like an island of like guests, so it's like everybody's different.
Everyone came from different backgrounds,
and I think it's also going to feel a little bit more partier, more wilder because of that. But I like the different tones. It's like the same idea, but they're taking it to different locations, different tones, different casts. And this one has who did we see? Edward fucking Norton,
Janelle Monáe,
Kate Hudson, Dave Bautista, a lot of fucking people. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's actually
Catherine Hahn.
It's actually just couples retreat.
Yeah,
but
right.
People get murdered.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, that's my 3 cents. Definitely excited to check out Glass Onion.
A lot of good films coming out, hopefully.
Definitely. And before we get into Jam and Yam, I just want to say, just remind, or actually, this would be after it happens. D23 is happening this weekend, which is Disney's big expo.
Oh yeah.
So this weekend is going to be like the big one where we find out not everything, but a lot of stuff that's going to be happening in Marvel upcoming. A lot of stuff that's happening in Star Wars and just like, original Disney properties, Pixar shows. So it's going to be pretty interesting. I know I'm excited. They're also mixing it with Disney Plus Day, where they're going to be releasing Pinocchio, the live action version, a Cars live action Cars.
Bro, that would be so good.
No, they're making a Cars series. I put it in the chat a little while ago, but it's interesting because it's actually like it features the OG cast. So it's Owen Wilson and Larry the Cable Guy. And apparently it's like a cross-country road trip. They drive from Radiator Springs to the east for a wedding. So they go through all the states and meet people along the way. Kind of cool, right?
I like that a lot, actually.
So
it's really cool.
It's going to be an exciting weekend. So technically, since you're watching this a solid 3 days after D23.
Tell us what happened.
Comment down below what you're most excited to check out from D23, and I will do that too.
Some crazy shit just dropped. We didn't even think
I'm definitely excited to see some Black Panther stuff.
Mr. Potato Head gets his own movie.
Not only that, they said that there's like a rumor going around that there's like a shit ton of actors who are going to be at D23 for like the Marvel panel. And what's even cooler is that those are actors that don't have set roles. So it's like they're going.
What are they going to do?
Exactly. It's like Denzel Washington, probably the biggest name on the list. Henry Cavill, which I thought was interesting considering he's also Superman. And just a lot of other people. Giancarlo Esposito, John Boyega, John Krasinski. I'm hype. But yeah, it's time for Jam and Yang. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go first?
No.
Oh, you don't? Can you go first? Because I'm not ready.
I'm not ready.
Oh, well.
I just blanked out on my okay, I have it. Okay. I have it. I'll go first. So I'm picking a very nice song. I'm picking Fantasy by Against All Logic.
Mm-hmm.
I forget that this album always exists. The artist Against All Logic, I know Bobby likes him. It's the Chilean EDM artist Nicolas Jarre.
He's Chilean? I don't know why I thought it was French, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean his name is it sounds pretty French as fuck. He uses a lot of French samples too. It's weird. But this is his second album, which I always forget exists. But this song has like an R&B sample. It kind of sounds like Beyonce. I don't know. But like imagine if Rave on You is like one of the most beautiful songs, this is like one of the most gross songs.
Got it.
Cuz it's like it's like a really catchy, it's really nice, so soft, and then the beat just drops out and he just kind of hits every drum on the machine, and I'm like, dude. But I love it. I love shit like that. So yeah, check it out. Really a song.
Fire. My jam of the week is going to be a song called ABC by Polyphia.
Ooh.
They're getting ready to release an album. They're kind of dropping singles.
I've seen the few.
And this one is featuring Sophia Black. It's kind of cool. It's one of those rare Polyphia songs that has a vocalist on it. And it's kind of cool because it mixes like obviously a super catchy guitar riff because that's what they're known for, but with an equally catchy melodic vocal kind of thing at the same time. And she's very popish with it. So check out ABC. It's very, very fun. She also says the entire alphabet faster than I've ever heard anybody say the entire alphabet. It's kind of crazy. She goes,
oh, jeez.
It's crazy. Thanks for joining us for episode 106 of the Joystick Show. I hope the microphones were better this week. I know it was a little bit hot last week, and I hope that's not too dark, but whatever. We're going for a tone thing.
Yeah, we're going for a deep, sensual podcast.
Yeah, we're going for some cinematic type shit. I already told you what the comment what you're excited to check out at D23.
Or just any movie coming out if you don't like Disney.
Yeah, if you don't like Disney stuff, I mean,
fuck you.
Disney probably owns the movie that you're excited about coming out, but regardless... What are you most excited to check out? I just saw the Black Adam trailer, or the second Black Adam trailer. That looks pretty fun. Can't wait for that to come out. A lot of movies coming out in October I'm excited to see. So go ahead and like this episode of The Joystick Show and subscribe to your boys, Team Joystick. The 5 of us would greatly appreciate it.
And if you don't, some bad things ahead.
If you don't, there will not be an episode next week.
Yeah, there will not.
I mean, you won't see it. It'll come out, but for some reason, it will just you won't be able to see it. You could come to Team Joystick and you'll see all of the podcast episodes up until 106, which is this one, as well as the accompanying Let's Plays. But you will not see any more podcasts after that. Yeah,
that's it.
So you should subscribe. Get
fucking banned. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's that.
Yeah,
so I guess all we have to do is end the show.
End it?
Yeah.
How do we end it?
Yeah.